Have you been to California? Seen the sights and people there? Walked the streets.
Hello, I'm Michael.
And I'm Grace.
And we are California Travel Videos. Now, welcome to part 3 of our first episode on McArthur-Burney Falls State Park, located 60 miles east of Redding, out on Highway 299. Now, in this section, Grace and I will show you some of our photographs, with emphasis on how to edit photos in post-production, and we will be using Adobe's excellent Lightroom program. At the end of this show, then we will give you our overall critique of the Burney Falls experience with some of our lessons learned and our self-assessment of our photographs and videos. But of course, we're here to serve you, and we would enjoy hearing your constructive feedback. And oh, by the way, if you'd like to purchase some copies of any of our photos printed by Bay Photo Labs, please go to our online account at californiatravelvideos.smugmug.com. And here we have a copy of the screen. That is californiatravelvideos.smugmug.com. Well, okay, Grace, ladies first, so let's take it away and let you look at a first couple photos that you'd like to tweak. Okay, well, here we are on our first photo, and it was in the afternoon, just about 3 o'clock, I guess. Had a nice lunch break, morning, great photos there, and in the afternoon, when we did our second round with the videos, how do you feel about our first shot there when you took?
Afternoon sun wasn't doing me any favors.
No, it wasn't, but you've nicely framed this photo. Look at the nice fall colors there, and we have both the deciduous and the evergreens bracketing your target. Very nice composition on it. And let's see what we can do in Lightroom. So first off, we're not going to do anything with the white balance or the exposure contrast for now. The highlights, yes, they're highly lit. So let's turn down our shadows. Maybe go for about -70, something like that, and try to bring out some of these shadows. Taking a look at our histogram here. Well, we've got everything in the right area. It's just, it's still pretty bright in the middle. So the next we're going to do our whites. Maybe we can bring those up some. Yeah, that's looking good. How about 60 or 70 there? Now we've got some greater range here, and we're blowing out just a little bit, maybe down in this lower area, but not bad. That's not our area of interest. So we're looking good, and our blacks, we're going to take those down also. So about maybe 50 or something like that. So yeah, it's kind of gotten rid of the objectional area, so we don't just see the things on the outside. We're starting to come into the center.
Wow, I did good.
You did good. Now the clarity, if we wanted that dreamy look, we could do that, but I think no, let's just leave it alone and see what we can do with our vibrance, and maybe crank up about 20 or 30, something like that. And yeah, I think that works for us. And our saturation. A lot of photographers like to really crank these up, and it looks like, well, it looks kind of bright, but we don't turn up our dials all the way. We're going to go for, what do you think, about maybe 15 or 20, something like that. Yeah, in that vicinity.
Yeah, I think so.
So, looks good. I think you've got a photo we can work with now with a little bit of magic with Lightroom. And anything else you think we should do with it here?
I would like to see a vignette.
A vignette coming up. Okay, so if we go over here to our presets and vignette level 1. So, okay, so yeah, some of our lens do that. Your lens you were using, I think, was the 16 to 35 millimeter, which doesn't have too much vignette. And if we want to introduce one to make more interest in the center of the photo, I'm good with that. And let's go ahead and go down past our basic panel and go down to our detail panel and see what we can do there. I think that if we drilled in, it looks like it could maybe use a little bit of sharpening here. I don't see noise artifacts here, which is a good thing. But let's see what we can do to work on some of our sharpening though. So right now it is set to mid-20s, and let's go ahead and crank that baby up to 70 is looking better. I see more, maybe even up around 90. And then we'll take a look at our next one is our radius and see what that does. Maybe take it on up to about 1 or 1.5 or 2. Yes.
2 looks good.
2 is looking about good right there.
Can I see it from further out?
Go ahead and back on out. Exactly. So, wow.
Wow.
That is a great shot you've got working for you there. And we'll
Impressive.
go back maybe and take a look again now finally up at the basic. And let's just take a look at the exposure. Contrast, if we needed to widen this out, we could, but I think it looks pretty nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at our exposure and maybe just bring it down a little bit. Maybe a couple. That's looking pretty dark, isn't it?
Right about there.
Maybe right about there?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've got a
Voila.
keeper. Let's take a look at the next one.
Let me sign my name on that puppy.
Amen. Okay, here our next shot. Oh, nice view of the stream here. And I think, Grace, I recall this is the one where you were getting a low camera angle and you were maybe getting some foreground framing. What's going on in this shot?
This is where I'm lying on the ground and everybody walking by wonders what I'm doing. But what I'm trying to do is get the comparison between the fishermen and the waterfalls to show how large the waterfalls really are.
Okay, you got it. And looks like the histogram's a little bit low. So let's see if we can pop this baby up a little bit. So we'll start off with the highlights. Maybe twirl up 20, 30. That's probably about all we're going to get out of it. In the mid-30s, something like that. And same for the whites. Let's bring that up to maybe about 30 or so also. Okay, mid-30s.
Yeah.
And the blacks, yeah, that's where we need some real work on it. So the blacks we're going to bring up to 20 or so. Yeah, I can see the difference there.
Yeah.
And I guess from here on we'll go to the exposure, but let's do our presences a little bit here. So we'll start off with the clarity, and clarity, yeah, it looks like it's getting a little something there, up around 20. And vibrance, maybe about the same, mid-20s, something like that. Yeah, bringing out some of his colors. Since it was a pretty dark scene, that's where we need to really twirl these up. And saturation maybe about 20, 25 also. Yeah, that really helps. So in fact, I wonder black and white. Might actually work sometimes, but let's stick with it. See what we can do here. And how do you like it so far?
I like it. I'm just wondering if we took the clarity down a little bit, would I get my dreamy effect?
Oh, here you go again. Okay, here's Miss Clarity. We're going to try taking it down.
Oh, yeah.
So how much? Maybe about 50, 60, 70?
No, 70's too much. How about 50?
50s. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And,
Yes.
We've lost some of our sharpness on the edge, some of the contrast, but yeah, if you like that type of a look, it definitely provides it, doesn't it?
Maybe turn the exposure up just a little bit now.
Oh, definitely. So maybe about 0.5 or something like that to bring that up some.
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. No longer is it nightfall. The fisherman is in the daytime.
And you can see him better, too. He stands out more
I wonder
now.
if, yeah, you're right. I was thinking we could maybe use an adjustment tool or radius tool to bring him up, but I think he's looking pretty good there. What do you think?
I love him, and he's got a cross on his back, too.
He does have one on there. Well, maybe he's going to be blessed and catch some fish after all before the day is over. So you want to go with it?
I love it.
Okay, I wonder about the detail in it here. I just want to take a look and see. I think those colors are just from the leaves and the rainbow, and I don't think we need anything. How about the sharpness down here? It's probably going to have a little bit of an issue because you've got the clarity on, so I think that is going to be pretty good. Yeah, okay, let's go with it. Ready?
I love it.
Okay, Grace, here's the one where you were on the bridge looking downstream. Looks like you've got some nice blue tones coming through it here. A little maybe blown at the top, but look at this nice composition here. How do you feel about it?
That was actually one of my favorites. I looked downstream and I saw that beautiful vanishing point, and I think this is about the spot that you had told me about, the BRAS technique.
Breathe, relax, aim, and squeeze, so you get a good focus. And in fact, taking a look at the library module, and we're looking down here, the exposure. Yeah, you did have that shutter where it's 1/40th of a second and the aperture is all the way open. Look at iris, 2.8. Okay.
And no tripod.
No tripods. You got to be pretty steady. Probably had your elbows on the rail or maybe even the camera, which really helps out so that you have a little bit better focus. So not a perfect focus, but it's something we can work with. So let's give it a go. Okay, so we're going to start off. We can see the histogram a little bit with the hump, a little bit to the left. So we're going to bring it over to the right, and off to the develop module we go. And we'll start off with the highlights and bring that up to, well, it's not going to make much difference here. So we're going to let that go, and we're going to have to go right to the whites and yeah, this is looking good. We get up about 50, 60. It started off here. So yeah, maybe 65, 70. And the blacks, I don't think we can do much there, a little bit, but we'll just kind of let that go low and off to the vibrance. And I know you like it low, but I'm going to try to bring it up here. If you're okay with that, have kind of a punchy colors here with all these nice colors working for us.
With autumn, definitely so.
Okay, with autumn it's going to work. And saturation, don't want to be too heavy-handed. Let's kind of take a look at it.
I'd pop it up to about 30 at least.
Yeah, 40 is looking, the water's looking mighty blue, a little bit kind of
fake
over, isn't it? Maybe even 15, 20. This vibrance, we could maybe come down a little bit. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I like it.
Okay, good. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our detail. Go into that module next. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can take the sharpening and bring it on up a little bit. So you have to give this a little chance for the processor to work, do its thing, and we can see it is a little sharper indeed. We'll kind of check around a couple places. That's looking better. And I don't know if we need to do anything with the radius or not, but no, I think it was okay before. And I suppose we want to do a little bit with our exposure now. So our histogram is, let's go back full screen, and we're going to, yeah, that's pretty good. I see it's already been tweaked a little bit when we were playing with it, so maybe about there. We've got a little bit of blown out areas, not too much in the picture here, but that's, well, I guess that's the best you could do with it, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately the sky didn't leave us a lot of room to work with, but
yeah.
I think the light came because there were no clouds or anything in the sky, so it's kind of bittersweet.
So we could try, I mean, this is usually not going to resurrect anybody from the grave, but you can try this and say, okay, a little bit too much of the underexposure, and you can get this tree here a little bit darker. You don't want it to make it look too burned out. If it looks a little bit vignette-y, I guess that's okay. Are you okay with that?
I am.
Okay, let's go ahead and punch that in and see what we look in a full screen.
I like it.
I think you can, I'll buy it. Okay, good. I think that one's complete. You okay with it?
I'd like to see a trout fish jumping in here.
Yeah, that would be nice to have some of our little friends there going downstream, but it looks like they're heading for safer waters. So
Definitely.
Job well done. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Well, look what we have here. Now, isn't this a delight? I see some great things in this scene, Grace. We have the old Thomas Kincaid path going into, well, around the corner. Nice S-curve. And look at that nice light that you picked up off the tree, as well as the trees bracketing the side. What do you think? You like it?
Yeah, this one is one of my favorites for sure. I really love the S-curve, and I can just see Little Red Riding Hood popping out. So you know I'm going to want to make that clarity go down a little once we start editing.
Okay, well, let's give it a go. It's as we can see, the histogram says, I am dark. Let's go ahead and start off by brightening it up. And we have our, well, I'm kind of curious, is looking in the library. And what did we have for our settings here? Oh, once again, 1/40th of a second. Yeah, you might have brought that down, but you would need a tripod. Were you about to carry that up the mountain?
Oh, maybe
I
next
don't think
time.
so. And you've got your aperture open all the way up to that setting. You could have maybe cranked up your ISO to 400 to 800, one or two stops, but let's go ahead and see what we can do to bring this baby to life. So, okay, develop module we go, and off we are going to start with the highlights. And 25, 50, 75, and
yeah, it needs at least 100.
It's going to take some boost here, isn't it? Okay, we're probably maxed out at 100, and how about some whites?
Up, 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 up.
Looks like about 40 or 50, something like that.
Right about there.
Okay, yeah, now look at this. It's really starting to come to life, isn't it? It looks a little more friendly. I'm not afraid to go around this corner now.
It looks more inviting.
And I don't know about the blacks. I think, no, it's just, I think it looks nice to have some dark spots in the scene. So clarity, I'm not sure there. Well, we could do some clarity. Or
well,
what
let's
do you
save
want,
clarity.
up or down?
I want to save clarity.
I know where we're going with this, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so vibrance is just a tad here.
Yeah, I want to see the reds in the corner.
You can see in the trees. We don't do too much. It looks too blue, so just maybe just up a little bit, and the saturation. We want to take a look and maybe bring something out here in those leaves a little bit, and also elsewhere. I think some of those greens in the tree in the upper left, we should be able to bring those up some. So 20, 30, 40, and about 50, and look at that. Brought out the reds there, and the green in the trees, and maybe a little bit more. We might want to try the exposure next. How about that?
Okay, yeah, let's
we'll
turn
get this
that up.
histogram and see if we can get this baby to work for us. Make it sing. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, perfect.
I think we've got a keeper there. And what else? You want to do anything else with this one?
It looks a little... I don't like that corner where the red is. I want to see that just a little bit, maybe
darker.
a filter.
Use a graduated filter here.
Definitely.
Okay, we'll go ahead and bring that there. It's a little bit too much, but
Yeah.
we can go ahead and not have it quite so low on the exposure, and maybe about like this in this area. How about there? Maybe a little bit less.
Right about there. That's
Okay,
fine.
we'll go ahead and lock that in. And yeah, that's made it so our eye isn't drawn too much over to this hot spot without, because I don't think we want to use a vignette to do the whole thing. This is just too nice to waste here.
Definitely. I don't like at the very top the
that little hot
white
spot.
Yeah, so I think
Okay.
we can fix that maybe by cloning some of those leaves.
Okay, spot removal tool comes to the action, and where are we at here? Here we go. And how big is the size? That looks like it's about the right size. Click on it, and it's got a little tree branch there perhaps, but
Yeah,
maybe
right in there.
Okay, let's give that a go. Yeah, that got it.
That's it right there.
That got it. Look at this.
Yeah, so it draws away from that spot and it goes more to the path. So I like that.
So here we go, walking down the path to Grandma's house around the corner. Hopefully no wolves around the
Big
corner.
bad wolf. But this is a perfect illustration that nature gives us a lot of beauty, but sometimes we need to little tweak here and there because it's not always going to be 100% perfect.
It's good, but you really were able to hit the light just perfect on these trees over here, and also with the leaves, and all of that works together. And like you say, bringing up the saturation. And how about the vibrance and clarity? You're okay with the vibrance? Or did you say you want to come back to the clarity?
Yeah, clarity. You know I want to go down with
I
that.
should have known. You want to have that dreamy
I
look.
want to make it look like it's in a dream.
So where
Let's go
some
down.
people might want to go up, Grace likes to pull it down to, there's about negative 50.
I'm thinking
all
just
the way.
about 50.
About 50. Okay.
Yeah, that's
There you go.
exactly where I want it. Look at how the bark picks up. The bark and the blue, you know, because it was early in the morning, so it was just past the blue hour, and that's kind of showing with the sun and the light right there.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely see that. And look at these leaves.
Yeah. That's more a reflection of what it really was like. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Well, you are a dreamy person, so good for you.
You're my
Is a
dream.
keeper?
Yes, and you
Okay.
are too.
Thank you.
Have you been to California? Seen the sights and people there? Walked the streets of sleepy sea towns? Tasted salty ocean air?